During my coronavirus quarantine, I am proud to say that I published my memoir. Now, the process of writing it actually started about 4 years ago when I took my very first writing class at OLLI with Steve Kagan. And then I took a writing class from John Himmelheber and joined the writing SIG that he chaired. And I also joined a women's writing group. And so those resources basically turned me from a very boring, facts-only, academic-style writer to a more creative writer, where I was able to learn to create dialogue and provide sensory descriptions and actually write some metaphors. So through the process of memoir writing, I got in touch with my emotions and I learned to dig pretty deeply to find my truths. And the process was actually fun and sort of insightful. It's like being in therapy in a way. You look back at your life, you figured out what influences have shaped you, you look at what messages you've kept and what messages you've discarded, you get to have conversations again with various people in your life. Now, writing a memoir is not just stringing together random stories about your life. There has to be a theme. And my book is titled Beware of Hanging Icicles, Tales of a New England Girl. And so my theme is how growing up in New England shaped my personality and my values. One chapter is titled I Am a New England Stone Wall. And it tells the story of how being raised in a stoical environment with a stoical family kept me from being in touch with my emotions, but how over time I learned to get in touch with emotions and develop some emotional intelligence. Mom had helped me bundle up in red snow pants, boots, a heavy coat, a scarf, an itchy gray woolen hat with ear flaps, and mittens clipped to my coat sleeves. As a 6-year-old on this frigid January Saturday, I was about to learn a lesson that would stay with me for a lifetime. This particular Saturday, I ran back into the house, crying and complaining that the bigger kids were throwing snowballs at me. And without a second of thought, my mother snapped back. "Quit being a crybaby. Get back out there and defend yourself. Throw snowballs back at them." Wow. She had hit me with an avalanche of snow right in that living room. Personal toughness, no-nonsense parenting, and a culture of stoicism had shaped me into a New England stone wall. But walls create barriers between people. As Robert Frost writes in Mending Wall, a stone may fall from time to time and need to be picked up and placed in just the right spot. My life has had its share of falling stones. Leaning on others in times of need and being open about my feelings are part of the task of mending. Perhaps I need not pick up the falling stones to stoically rebuild that stone wall. And another chapter is titled Teenager in a Small Town. And this chapter describes our family's move to the beautiful dairy farming, lobster fishing community of Westport, Massachusetts. I thought I would never move away from my teenage paradise of Westport, with its dozens of glistening beaches, sand dunes, and salt marshes. Walking along any piece of shoreline, be it East Beach, Horseneck Beach, Gooseberry Island, or Westport Harbor, assaulted my senses with smells of seaweed and salt air, the sounds of crashing waves and caws of seagulls, and warm or icy winds, depending on the season. On a short walk, I could find horseshoe crabs, minnows, multicolored seaweed, beautiful shells, periwinkles clinging to wet rocks, and even the occasional dead baby shark. Westport was home for only 11 years of my life, and that's hard to fathom since I am still who I am today because of that town. Being a small town girl taught me to value simplicity, to explore nature, to amuse myself, to become close to my parents, to learn to garden and to cook, to develop leadership, and to find my adventures in books. But I wasn't meant to live such a small life. Even in beautiful Westport, the whole world was calling. So I urge you to consider writing your memoir. There is plenty of resources available to help you. You might consider the books The Art of Memoir or Your Life as a Story. There's lots of websites that will provide writing prompts to get you started in thinking about various incidences in your life. And those websites will also give you advice for revising and editing your writing. And you might consider joining the North Carolina Writers Network. And today it's really so very easy and quite economical to self-publish. I use Kindle Direct Publishing. All I had to do was upload the manuscript, create a table of contents, and create the front cover and the back cover of the book. And then within a few days, my book was ready for sale. Let me read the back cover to you. Cindy Berryman-Fink is a retired college professor who lived the first 22 years of her life in Massachusetts. She moved to the Midwest for her career, where she met Chuck Fink and raised 2 sons. She currently resides in the South. She proudly retains her Yankee values of practicality, work ethic, frugality, simplicity, and directness. Happy writing!